So if I'm not mistaken, I am going up the final significant hill of the Via Transilvanica. I believe the rest of the day is going to be downhill pretty much, and then tomorrow will be almost all level. But it's interesting. I've been in kind of a, I don't know, strange mood really since sunrise. And I think having something to do with it being the next to last day, it's a strange feeling. I don't know if wistfulness is a part of it. It's like, you know, you've set about doing a major endeavor and it's almost over. But it's not. It's not the day where you're actually going for the goal. It's the day before that. But it's pretty much a done deal. I mean, unless something significant happens. So yeah, it's been kind of a strange feeling. The other hike that I did that's probably the most similar to this was a hike I devised going across Spain from the Bay of Biscay or the Cantabrian Sea to the Mediterranean, using primarily a trail called the GR1, the Sendero Histórico, but then using a couple other trails as well to link it all together. And that was a similarly solitary experience. And I think the 5 weeks that it took me to do that, I only saw one other person that was doing the trail, and he was going in the opposite direction, and I didn't actually exchange words with him. I just kind of saw him from a distance. And I only one time spoke with anybody who spoke any English whatsoever. Now, my Spanish is better than my Romanian, so the conversations in Spanish are more interesting than the conversations I have in Romanian. But yeah, similar. I remember the day before the last day, kind of a similar feeling. And I remember that night I pitched my tent in, kind of my usual spot that I like to have. And it was very windy. I just remember laying in the tent and looking up at the trees swaying and feeling this intense peacefulness. I mean, it's almost always a peaceful feeling when you have a good campsite, but this was different. And strangely, I woke up about 3 a.m. and there was light in the sky, like orange light, like it was dawn. And I checked my watch. It's like 3 a.m. It's like, what's going on? It was a forest fire. And then I started hearing firemen and stuff. And I mean, I broke camp faster than you could believe. And the firemen helped me out, and they drove me all the way around the fire in a 4x4, and then just dropped me off at the side of the road in a safe place. And then I just started walking. So like in the pitch dark, I just started walking along the road, and that took me to the Mediterranean. So anyway, that was a strange denouement there to that trip. But yeah, but that feeling the day before. And the question is out there, why do something like this? It's not like I'm doing the best of Romania. Like if I were doing that, I'd probably, string together a few different hikes in national parks, just like the best of the best, that kind of thing. And that has something going for it too. But there's something about doing something like across a country from a definite starting point to a definite finishing point, like in Spain, going from, one major body of water to another major body of water across the entire Pyrenees. Part of it is the adventure, the sense of unknown. Can you complete it? Because that's not a given. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. A guest house owner was just telling me today about a couple who were going to do it in the opposite direction. He said they were German. They were going to do it in the opposite direction. They were going to start in Drobeta, Târnu Severin, and go to Putna. And they had gotten to his place, which would have only been the second day for them, but they hadn't seen anybody. And that was it. They chickened out. they dropped out. They completely gave up because of the lack of people. And I was talking to a guy who was going to bike the entire thing, and he had seen like 2 or 3 bears, and he dropped out because, you know, he was afraid of the bears, and which is reasonable probably. But yeah, I mean, but there's so many things that can go wrong. So that gives it a sense of adventure, a sense of uncertainty, which has its appeal, and the challenge of it, and the fitness goals of it, and the discovery and the exploration. And I don't know, just there's a lot of reasons that you could articulate. If you've ever seen the movie The Way, about the Camino de Santiago with Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez. Well, if you haven't seen it, I certainly recommend seeing it. But if you have seen it, you know, I'm not 100% sure I'm still on the Via. I'm going to check that. I'll be back. Yes, I was definitely not going the right way, but now I'm back. I'm back on it, I think. Yes, I am. So, yeah, talking about the movie The Way. Anyway, that movie was partially based on a book written by a journalist named Jack Hitt, who actually did do the Camino de Santiago well before it was popular. And they asked him at the end of the pilgrimage, and they still ask you this, they asked why he had done it. And they're kind of looking for, I think, three answers: religious, spiritual, or recreational. But he said that he had done it to find out why he had done it, which is kind of a flippant, smart-alecky answer, but, you know, it kind of makes sense. Like, he felt compelled to do it, to do this pilgrimage, but he didn't know why. And he did it to find out why he had this urge to do it, you know, what it was within him that drove him to do it. So, yeah, so something like the Via Transilvanica, it's not a pilgrimage, it's not a religious pilgrimage. It's not like the Camino de Santiago, right, where you earn a plenary indulgence for completing it. But I think it can have as much of a spiritual component to it as you want to invest in it or not. Or it can be just, you know, purely recreational or fitness, or certainly wouldn't be for the social aspect as far as other hikers go at any rate. But yeah, and it's like, you know, people asking, well, the famous mountaineering question, right? Why'd you climb it? You know, and the answer, because it's there. Again, it's just a flippant answer, because it's like, if you have to ask the question, you're not going to understand the answer, even if the person can articulate the answer. Or, you know, why is jazz so great? Well, if you have to ask why jazz is great, you're not going to get it. And those are not easy things to articulate. And I certainly can't precisely articulate why I feel the drive to do this kind of thing. And it's not just a matter of not being able to articulate it. I don't know that I really precisely know myself either. It's just something inside of you that has that drive. You know, like some people have a drive for doing things that are dangerous. I don't have that. I like doing things that have a level of uncertainty to them, but I certainly don't enjoy doing things that have a significant risk of death. But I don't know, it's just kind of me rambling about the way that I'm feeling now on this next to last day. And I don't know if anybody will have any interest in what I have to say or not. Maybe I'll just put this in a supplemental video and clearly label it as just talking. So, right, if you're not going to come click on this video for the pictures. But yeah, I don't know if any of y'all kind of understand what I'm saying there or not. But it'll pass. tomorrow's going to be an exciting day to get to that last kilometer stone. That's going to be cool. So if you've watched all the way to the end of this, maybe no one has, but if you have, maybe it's been of some use to you. I don't know. Or maybe you have some of those kind of feelings yourself. If you've been interested and you've been watching me do this journey, there's something inside of you that has at least the feeling of wanting to do maybe a long distance hike. And although this isn't, like I said, this isn't necessarily what you'd call the best of Romania, but given that it's going across all of Romania, I would say that the trail designer has done an excellent job of piecing together the best of Romania, given the condition of having to go all the way across Romania. So yeah, it's a cool thing. So I hope you've gotten something out of my rambling. And if not, sorry. So literally within seconds of me just turning the camera off, I come over this like low hill, and I see this giant cross up on a hill. So that was definitely the last uphill. And right on the other side of this cross, I can actually see the Danube River in Serbia across on the other shore. It's too far away, to show up much in a picture or a video. But yeah, there's something really cool about actually seeing the Danube, although I'm not going to get to it till tomorrow. But yeah, and there's also something really serendipitous, I don't know, coincidental about, what I was just talking about, and then coming across this giant cross on a hill. I had no idea this was here. This was a complete surprise, but almost made me tear up a little bit. Yeah, and the view on the other side is pretty cool. The end is literally in sight. So that giant cross on a hill got me thinking. It's like a search for the transcendent, but not by just being immersed in beauty. So like if somebody wanted to said, I want to see the United States, I want to get a feel for what the United States is like by doing a hike, by doing a multiple week hike, you wouldn't have them do, let's say, the John Muir Trail, right? So you wouldn't have them do the absolute best trail in the best, most beautiful mountain range of the United States, and then say, yeah, that's what the United States is like. Which is what I was talking about, a best of trail. I mean, that would be it, but you wouldn't get a feel for the United States like that. And when you do a trek across an entire nation, it is kind of like a pilgrimage. It's like the pilgrimage of life, right? I mean, life is not all birthdays and puppies. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's complex. And a trail like the Via Transilvanica does have transcendent beauty, but suffering is also a component. And that combination of beauty and suffering, I think, can improve or refine, purify that part of us that's made in the image of God. And I think that that's at least part of what I'm striving for in a journey like the Via Transilvanica, or the journey that I did across Spain. Not the Camino de Santiago. That was a very social trail that for me anyway, right, wasn't conducive to that kind of introspection or that kind of purification process, maybe. But the GR1, the Sendero Histórico, definitely was. And I think that the Via Transilvanica has that potential, if that's something that you're looking for when you go into it. So maybe that's at least an approximation of an articulation. It's an attempt to purify the soul through a combination of immersion in beauty and suffering. I don't know. That wouldn't make a very good advertising motto for a trail, though, would it? I don't know. But anyway, just some thoughts. Take care, and God bless.